Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do some real talk and answer some questions from Instagram. I know this video has been long overdue. It has been a very busy summer for me, so I am just getting around to it, and I thought it would be a good idea to do a little real talk and then answer some of your questions. So here I am doing a monthly spread. I collaborated with Note and Wish on this monthly spread. They were kind enough to send me some of their beautiful washi tapes and stickers. So I recommend you go check them out, their Etsy store. I will leave a link down below to their shop. So I am using Daniel Smith watercolors in Mayan Dark Blue and Jadeite Genuine. I've mixed them together to kind of make a blue-green color. One of Note and Wish's washi tapes was the inspiration for this spread. It was kind of like a mountain forest scene in this same sort of color, and it just inspired the whole spread. I'm also using a few pieces from my Summer Moon journal kit to put the spread together. So I will let you watch that while I go through and answer some of your questions that I receive. Some of the questions I get asked a lot about, so hoping this will kind of clarify some of the questions. I also want to say I appreciate your feedback and comments and all the love I receive over on Instagram and even on YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate your encouragement. So let's jump into some questions. I got a few questions over on Instagram, and I also get asked some of the very same questions in comments that I kind of wanted to answer. So I had someone ask me how I got started doing what I do and how long I have been doing art. And basically, I have been doing art all of my life. Ever since I was a little girl, I was coloring and drawing. It was my favorite thing to do. I was an only child for a long time, so I had to have an imagination, and that's what I did. I would color and draw, and then through college and even in high school, I excelled in my art courses and decided to major in fine art. And at that point, I kind of needed a direction on where to take my art, and that's how graphic design fell into my lap. I have been a graphic designer for more than 10 years, and I currently work creating home decor for a local home decor company, and we sell to big box stores. And then on the side, I do freelance. I do anything from like the corporate marketing type of graphic design to creating logos, branding, illustrations, you name it. I like to think I can do it all. So a couple years ago, I started posting some of my art, and everyone has to begin somewhere, right? So if you scroll back through my Instagram feed, you can probably see how I've gone through seasons of changes in my art and what I was sharing with the world. But more recently, it kind of came to me that I want to put more good things out into the world, more good messages, some tools to help people journal. I am passionate about journaling, and my journal is kind of rolled all into one. I like to do a little planning, I like to do a little bullet journaling, and I like to do art journaling. So it's all rolled into one, although I do use several different journals. But I wanted to start sharing these things with the world. And so I started on Instagram and just kept growing from there, and expanding and selling in my Etsy shop now. And I have goals to kind of further that and have a standalone stationery shop. I'd like to sell some illustrations with stock, and possibly, I'm not sure, I've been throwing this around, but either going on Patreon or possibly creating a monthly subscription box. So those are kind of some of my goals. As far as the materials I use, I have different journals. The journal that I'm using here is a Strathmore watercolor journal. I also use a sketchbook that comes in a 2-pack from Michaels called, or it's by their Artist Loft brand, that I use a lot for my daily spreads. And then I use a lot, you'll see a silver pen and a gold pen in my journal. And the silver pen is a Pentel Sparkle Pop. It's very glittery. And then a gold pen I use a lot of is the metallic gold jelly roll pen by Sakura. And I also use a watercolor palette that's all metallic gold and silver. It's called the Starry Night palette by Gonzai Tambi. I probably just botched that pronunciation, but all the materials that I'm talking about I will link down below so that you can find them. Watercolors, as you know, Daniel Smith all the way. And I also use some homemade watercolors that I buy off of Etsy stores. Designs by Rachel Beth makes some very beautiful colors. And again, I will link those all down below. What do I recommend watercolors for beginners? I would definitely say the more money you can spend on a quality watercolor, the better. Daniel Smith are my go-to. They granulate a lot. Some people don't like the granulation in that. They want more of a solid color. And in that case, I would recommend using like a gouache, I don't know how you say it. Gouache is what I call it. That's more of a solid color, or you can make it solid. It won't granulate so much. And there are a lot of those available as well. I don't know about how expensive or how much money you should spend on gouache, but if you're starting out with watercolor, definitely start out with a higher quality watercolor. Otherwise, you're going to frustrate yourself, and that's not fun. What colors do I use a lot of? I use Payne's Gray in just about everything. It's one of my favorites, as is Moon Glow, and those two I sell in my Moon palette on Etsy, if you're interested. And okay, so a few other questions quickly here. Do I do commissions, and do I create logos? I do freelance work. So if you were interested in hiring me for a project, it would go under my freelance business, where we would discuss a contract and payment, etc. I don't just do commissions. I think there's a little bit of a difference there. I've also been asked if I sell my stuff wholesale. I do not currently, but I am hoping to. And one other question that I felt was kind of an important one. I had someone ask me how you get more followers, and I'm going to say this. Don't worry about the numbers. Worry more about finding your art style, what speaks to you, and be passionate about it. Do it every day, practice, and be consistent in posting your work. Send good things out into the world. And I believe that once you find that art style and you share it with the world, people will respond and people will want to interact with you. And I believe that's how you start a following. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my very short questions and answers and real talk. and my journal with me. If you have questions, please feel free to leave them down below. Thank you.